I love Plants vs Zombies fan games. Right now, Plants vs Zombies is on standby in terms of new content. Replanted just released a bit ago, Plants vs Zombies 2 is still spewing out garbage, and Plants vs Zombies 3 is ongoing development after its demo ended recently. Because of this, I've moved to these fan games, for now at least. Gardenless and Reflourish as my main two, and now, a new one that just got a 2.0 update recently. Plants vs Zombies Delturbia, created by Nick Kidd. Around half a year ago, they released a 1.0 version of the game that had two worlds. It was the same aspect ratio of the first Plants vs Zombies game, and some other small changes of the second version. Now that 2.0 is out, I'm able to talk about it. You would think it's like any other Plants vs Zombies game, but the more you play, the more you notice the game isn't what it seems, in many different ways. Starting the game, it follows a lot of the first game with some changes. There's not just male zombies anymore, they have female zombies that are called violet zombies, similar to the older Plants vs Zombies 3, which I think is nice. It really brings a lot of variation. A lot of the zombies have reskins actually, like how level 14 introduces a completely different looking newspaper zombie. They made her a cool looking woman now. They did the same thing with the pole vaulting zombie as well. They work exactly the same, but I feel like the change of look makes the game stand out. I did have to get used to it though. I'm so used to the older designs. Level 15 introduces bushes. You can get rid of them with explosive plants like cherry bomb. Plants won't be able to attack zombies when they're in the bushes, and similar to graves, you cannot place plants on them. Something I like about this game is that each world has a unique obstacle of some kind. I was worried that the first world would feel boring, as a lot of times when I'm playing the early stages of a PvZ game, it always feels that way. But nice little additions like these just adds a better experience. Speaking of a better experience, I enjoy that the difficulty feels balanced. Okay, the difficulty is a little amped, like how the football zombie is introduced in 1.8 rather than later in the game, but it doesn't overwhelm you. A lot of fan game problems like Fusion and Hybrid respectively have that issue where they assume good level design is just spawning groups of zombies in a quick pace where you have to react as fast as possible. Even Gardenless has this problem. It's pretty infamous for its questionable level design after all. The pace was honestly so much worse in the first update, and it's still reminiscent of Plants vs Zombies 2's challenging pace in 2.0, but compared to other fan games and PvZ 2 itself, it's a fresh experience. During 1.10, it's obvious things are gonna be a little different. Crazy Dave mentions going on a trip, making it very clear this game's gonna go a whole different route than the first time. It's extra clear how different this game is gonna be when you beat 1.9 and you get cabbage pult rather than puff shroom. That's pretty exciting. I would give the suburbs a 8 out of 10. I like the addition of the bushes and the reskins, but honestly, it's just a suburb. On to the next. So we're introduced to this forest area where Crazy Dave's RV breaks down called the Trail. It's similar to World 7 of Plants vs Zombies DLC mod. In fact, I think it's meant to be the same thing. The plants and zombies are completely different though, and they don't have bushes. Well, now that I think about it, the bushes from the suburbs are very similar to the ones from the World 7 of the PvZ DLC mod. Another inspiration. But anyway, what makes this world different is that since the trees are covering the sky, you won't get much sun from there. I recommend placing 3 sunflowers in a row rather than 2, although at the same time, you can't bring too many sunflowers as you won't have many rows after that. I honestly YOLO'd it throughout the game. On top of the limited sunlight, there's also craters on the grass now where you can't place plants. Thankfully, there's a plant that counters this later. Another example of an obstacle that makes this world stand out. And most of all, there's 4 columns rather than 5. No, this is different. In a way, I kind of like it. It just separates the trail from the suburbs even more. The trail is pretty fun. On level 2.5, there's a portal combat minigame. It takes place in the middle of the night. It's entertaining. It's the same as the portal combat minigame in PvZ. I always enjoy the little mid breaks in a PvZ game where it breaks the tower defense formula and you have yourself a little bit of fun. After 2.10, there's a simple conveyor belt level where you unlock the puff shroom. This leads to a lake where Crazy Dave takes us in the RV to chill for a bit. Maybe me and him will have a romantic dinner or something. Who knows? I know it was a short segment, but the lake is where things actually get weird. So let's stop here real quick to introduce the new plants and zombies from the trail, starting with the plants. After 2.1, you unlock the laser beam. The same as PvZ 2, really. The laser beam is so effective in the trail. There's a lot of zombies in this world, so it takes care of them wonderfully. After 2.2, you unlock the butter cherry. It's an instant plant. It butters all zombies in an area. It does have a slow recharge, a little faster than Cherry Bomb, and I feel like it'd be better as a plant that can butter all zombies shown in the lawn, like Ice Room, so it's an okay plant to use. It's best for newspaper and barrel zombies. You'll see what barrel zombies are in a bit. Trust me, you're gonna need the buttered cherry. After 2-3, you unlock the sod filler, meant to fill the craters from the second world, a line for plants to be placed. I'd honestly review it the same way I would review the Grave Buster from the PvZ games. It's an okay plant for the mechanic it's intended for. There's not much to it after that. I honestly wish that the sod filler could maybe destroy bushes as well, just to give it another mechanic and make it useful for not just one world. I never like when plants are limited to just one mechanic and one mechanic only, and that's all it does. After 2-6, we unlock the Goo Pea. It's like PvZ 2, it shoots poison peas that damage over time. It's a really overpowered plant for zombies like the concrete zombie as it ignores armor. After I unlocked it, this one and Laser Beam, I used it for the rest of the trail levels. I do feel like it's a little too overpowered, and honestly you can abuse it in every level, but it's a good plant. After 2-8, you unlock the Bambazooka. It's pretty much bamboo shoots from older PvZ 3, but with a cooler name. It fires powerful bamboo missiles that can knock back zombies. I love the new plant designs. They have a sense of personality to them. I especially love the sod fella. Look at him. He's so cute. The plants are nice. I'm disappointed that the suburbs didn't have any new plants or zombies, but I'm glad that this world did, especially with the plant department. Now for my favorite part, the zombies, which is the best part of the trails. On 2-3, we have the Barrel Zombie, a zombie from PvZ Adventures. It's pretty much a newspaper zombie on crack. When its barrel breaks, in a fast pace, it will sprint towards the lawn, skipping all the plants. This is where buttered cherry would come in handy, as it's a fast instant that can freeze the barrel zombies before it could reach your lawnmower. On 2-5, we have a concrete head zombie. Just a high toughness zombie, twice as tough as a bucket head to be exact. I say the same as football zombie, or at least around there. On 2-6, we have the mass charger zombie. It's similar to the football zombie from PvZ 2. A little bit of Delturbia trivia, the football zombie used to do the same thing that the mass charger zombie would do in 1.0, but they changed it to be its own original zombie, which I like. It'll sprint towards the lawn, and once it hits a plant, it'll instantly kill it. It's a really annoying zombie. I typically just countered it with a tauntnut though, or instinctively replace the poor random sunflower if I don't want to lose a laser beam or a Goo Pea shooter. And she's got abs. That's awesome. On 2-7, we have the redneck zombie. This guy is scary. I didn't know what he did at first, so imagine my reaction when he came in and completely executed my plans with his gun. Thankfully, similar to the mass charger zombie, if you have a tauntnut, it should counter it. But still, a real dangerous guy if you're not fast enough. I like the zombies the most as they're so creative mechanic wise. There's not too much to the plans in terms of that. A lot of the plants are a little bit similar, especially with the knockback part, but the zombies are challenging, and in a way force you to be strategic in the lawn and use actual defense like tauntnuts. Now that we're done introducing these bad boys and girls, let's talk about... So the lake is obviously a nighttime world. It takes place in the rain, which is honestly a really nice vibe. Spooky too, which is on purpose. Because of the rain, there's puddles. They're exactly like craters, but you can place lily pads on them. You don't unlock lily pads until after 3-3 though. They're also part of a zombie's mechanic that I'll explain later. Now, in the beginning is the part where the game gets a little bit unusual, where it becomes more obvious that there's something more to the game than purely just a tower defense. In 3-2, I randomly got some weird, ineligible text that popped up on my screen, which was quite suspicious. I wonder what it means. On top of that, on 3-4, Crazy Dave pops in and asks if I ever get the feeling of being watched. That's not creepy and questionable at all. There's obviously something coming, or something being foreshadowed. But what? What could it be? I unlocked the store after 3-4 and there's 2 upgrades for now. But I can't buy them with coins. Only gems, which are pretty hard to get honestly. One little problem that this game has is that in order to get gems, you have to grind. At least before 310. Which you'll see what I mean when I cover it. 3-5 is very odd. Very odd. It's a thunderstorm. Think of the last level of the first game's foggy levels. It's also a Bonka zombie level at the same time. But it's not just any Bonka zombie level. It introduces these creepy looking zombies called the Zug of the I can't pronounce it for obvious reasons. The text is Caesar cipher, where each letter in what's called plain text shifts a fixed number of positions along the alphabet. I know this sounds like a lot of mumbo jumbo, but in summary, in this text in particular, you have to move every letter 7 steps backwards in the alphabet. A goes to T, B goes to U, C to V, O goes to H, L goes to E, etc. Translating the zombie's name translated to Shadow Zombie, with its almanac text translating to He is behind us. The man behind the zombie horde. Is this zombie talking about Zomboss? What does he mean about the man behind the zombie horde? It's interesting. Now that we know how to decode it, we can do it for the other odd text we saw before. The text in 3.2 says, you have an eerie feeling that you are being watched. Obviously connecting to what Crazy Dave was saying in 3.4. Very strange. I beat the level. It was honestly kind of fun. It had a really creepy vibe, which I loved. It's different from other PvZ games in terms of the vibe. I think more PvZ fan games could leave the set genre and really experiment. I would love to see a Plants vs Zombies game in the horror genre. On 3.7, more suspicious, creepy text popped up during gameplay, which when translated says, soon you will face him, whether you are ready or not. Face who exactly? This is most definitely the same person that's giving Dave that eerie feeling, as well as whoever they were talking about that was behind the zombie horde in the Shadow Zombies almanac text. They ran out of ink in the 3.9 letter, unfortunately. Probably the scariest part of the game. Before I talk about the last level, here are the plants and zombies of this world. After 3.7, you unlock the Scarlet Rose. It slashes through the zombies in 3 lanes. I like it a lot, and it's one of my favorite new plants actually. It's very high damage, and I love how they look. She's so emo. It's actually so powerful too. Both this plant and the Goopy are the plants I use the most, honestly, with how overpowered they were. Speaking of emo, we have the Amplifier after 3.8.
Shit, why are you trying not to laugh, bro?
It amplifies plants around itself. Using the Amplifier with the Scarlet Rose is actually a great combo, as it will speed up the Scarlet Rose to attack even faster than she already does. These are the only plants, but honestly I love them both. They're aesthetically unique and they fit their world perfectly, and also they're just really fun to use. Now for the zombies. On 3.1 we're introduced to the Sea Spartan zombie. It hides in the puddles and will come out in waves to terrorize you. Is he annoying? Yeah. But the redneck zombie from the trails is worse. On 3.3 we have the Slime zombie. This is my favorite zombie of Delturbia. It works like a basic zombie until it's killed. When it is, it will release a bunch of little zombies. Kind of like the Minecraft slime. Shoom's pretty effective at handling these little guys. It is a little bit easy to handle, and I wish the little zombies could move into different lanes to make it a little bit more difficult, but I love this guy. On 3.5 we have the Shadow Zombie. I already talked about it, not much to it. For now, it just stands there. On 3.6 we have the Pyro Zombie. This is a great zombie. It's another zombie with a weapon. It obliterates plants with fire. It dies fairly easily, but when I really have to deflect it, I'll just use an iceberg lettuce or ice shroom. On 3.8 we have the Sea Queen Zombie. Her design is absolutely amazing. Similar to the dancing zombie, she will summon waves of Sea Spartan zombies around it. It's kind of a pain since it's so tough, so sometimes it can overrun the lawn with a bunch of zombies, but an ice shroom should do the trick in stalling her. Then starts and you would expect the usual conveyor level, but there's no zombies to be shown at all. And once the level starts after a second or two, a random little eyeball pops in. Okay, who is this little guy? And suddenly, it's a massive eyeball. Yep, not a Zomboss, a huge eyeball. It's what Crazy Dave was talking about in 3.4 that was watching us, possibly from the sidelines, and probably who the Shadow Zombie means by the man behind the zombie horde, and what 3.7 was saying about having to face someone. There could be more to it, but that's my assumption. I'm gonna guess that maybe this eyeball was inspired by Pronzel, a character that came to be by Tumblr user Raptor in a dream. Many Deltarune fans like to act like Pronzel is a real character found in the game. The reason why I mention this is because it becomes very obvious how inspired this game is when it comes to Othertail and Deltarune. The boss's first is pretty hard. It sends in zombies like a usual PvZ boss would. That's not the hard part, honestly. The conveyor belt sends in repeaters, fume shrooms, iceberg lettuces, amplifiers, scarlet roses, ice shrooms, and cherry bombs. The amplifiers, scarlet roses, cherry bombs, and ice shrooms carried this part of the boss completely. But sometimes it will send in shadow zombies rather than the usual zombies. I had a feeling these weren't Zomboss made zombies, obviously. The shadow zombies were really easy to kill though. I thought they would be harder. The eyeball will also throw stars that can damage plants, and shoot lasers that can evaporate an entire row. But once its health bar depletes to around 30 to 40% at least, all your plants will disappear, and your cursor becomes a heart. In the loading screen of the game, it's hard to notice, but you can see the same heart, obviously foreshadowing this moment. When your cursor becomes a heart, You literally have to play Undertale. You go from avoiding stars to a spiral of stars to avoiding a massive laser coming from the big eyeball on your screen. I could show this to a PvZ player from years ago and they would not think it's Plants vs Zombies for obvious reason. It is a little frustrating because I suck at Undertale. It's different, that's for sure. I'm a little conflicted about this boss. There's definitely a lot to it, and I gotta say, I love the little foreshadowing elements they put into the game, and I love the boss design and concept itself. It's great. I just don't know how to feel about the Undertale elements. Maybe I'm just being petty that I suck at Undertale. Now you see what I meant when I mentioned the Undertale and Deltarune inspiration. I mean, it's in the name. Delturbia, Deltarune Zambaria. I just blew your mind. And once you beat him, you get a ton of dark gems. He's pretty easy to farm gems from afterwards, giving me a chance to buy the 2 plants at the shop. Now, let's cover the bonus content. We're not finished just yet. So there's a lot of bonus content. In the level selection, I learned this a little too late into the game admittedly, levels have bonus sections. They're just bonus levels that can give you some easy diamonds and plant even. Like a Protect Your Endangered Walnuts level and Bok Choy Center level where you unlock the Bok Choy for the suburbs. A Last Stand level and a Protect Your Endangered Potato Mines level where you have to use Chard Guards to protect them where you unlock Chard Guard for the trail. And a level covered in puddles and a level where you have to unfortunately use Sunbeam for the lake level where you unlock Sunbeam, even though I'll never use them. In the trail levels, there's a Twilight section, though it's just endless nighttime. In fact, the other 2 worlds have endless as well. The problem with the endless levels in my opinion is that it overwhelms the lawn only a few minutes into playing it, so you cannot really last that long in it. I think how it should work is there should be waves, and each time a final wave ends, you're able to reselect plants. Similar to the first game's Endless. The mini-games are pretty normal. Zombotany, Walnut Bowling, Portal Combat, Shadow Fight, and Cloudy Day. Shadow Fight is just a repeat of the Bunker Zombie with that weird but awesome looking zombie. And Cloudy Day is exactly like the mode in Replanted. Cloudy Day is one of the many little positives of Replanted, so I'm glad it was added on here. This is also the one time I can consider Sunbeam actually useful because it doesn't fall asleep. If you scroll all the way down in the achievements, you unlock a secret game. Similar to Replanted with the Great Wall minigame. This time it's Backyard Blast. It's a pool level. One little extra gameplay I noticed in the end was odd. Not in a creepy way, it was just cursed. If you flip to the last page of the car shop, you notice a random picture of a zombie in a bunny suit that costs a whopping 750,000 coins. When you pay for this, you unlock a dating game? Or at least it looks like one. In reality, it's an easy way to farm gems. When you give her gems, it will amplify the amount of dark gems you get a minute. You can also give her costumes. They are really expensive. There's an Idol costume, a Z-Corp costume, a Goku costume, and 2 bunny suits? Okay, if you're into it, you're into it. Then, lastly, is what I believe is the weirdest part of the game. Another part of the lore, I believe. There's a picture on the tree of the extra content menu that if you click, it'll fade to a close-up of the picture. It's clearly a guy, but who? Then, text appears. A picture, the face is bleached out, blank, empty, and still, it looks familiar. Too familiar. Then the background fades and you're only left with the tree for a few seconds or so. That eventually fades out as well. And after some type of blackness, text appears. Decoded, it says, "Miss him? Then, don't worry, you'll see him again." And lastly, whoa. For now, I really couldn't tell what this is supposed to mean. Why do we recognize this person? Is it us? Who exactly are we? Is it our kid? I believe we're not just some player anymore. We're obviously someone important. We obviously have a soul, it's the heart, but what is our importance in the story? Who are we? I checked out Nico's channel to see if there was anything. There were 2 videos. They don't have much views, and there's not much to the dark video, but I thought the dark gem one was pretty interesting. It's clear that the dark gem isn't from the game's dimension. In fact, I believe the shadow zombies and the eyeballs are from an entirely new dimension. They're clearly not from our world. And that's all we have for the game for now. This is obviously a well-made fan game, and I'm excited to see what's next. That's about it, guys. See ya!
She just moved right up the block for me. She got the heights for me, the finest thing I ever seen. Oh no, no, she got a man in the sun though. But that's okay, cause I wait for my cue and just listen, play my position like a show star. Pick up